The death of General Grievous at the hands of Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi seemed to signal the end of the Clone War and make the Republic victorious. But as soon as the Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker returned from his meeting with Chancellor Palpatine, the report from fellow council member Mace Windu was irrelevant. Supreme Chancellor Palpatine had turned out to be the Sith Lord they'd been looking for, and the Master of the Order organised an arrest for Palpatine with 3 other council members, but not Anakin. The Jedi Knight had other ideas, fearing for the life of his secret wife Senator Amidala of Naboo, and decided to join Palpatine in the faint hope of gaining the knowledge to save her from imminent death, as the galaxy quickly turned against the Jedi. Obi-Wan was one of the few Jedi who were able to escape, and reuniting with Senator Organa of Alderaan and Jedi Grandmaster Yoda, they tried to apprehend the Sith. Failing to stop the rise of the Empire, the Jedi were forced to go into hiding, with Obi-Wan residing on his old padawan's home planet of Tatooine, tasked with looking over Luke Skywalker and keeping him safe from the Emperor. But what if Obi-Wan never went into exile? What else would he have done to help the galaxy? As you're about to find out, the existence of a more active Obi-Wan could have altered the fate of those in the Empire and the Rebellion. Aboard the Sundered Heart, Obi-Wan, Yoda and Bail Organa sat in the conference room, discussing what should be done with Padme and her children. Deciding to firstly fake the deaths of Luke and Leia, Yoda insisted that they needed to split the children to protect them from the Empire, until they were ready to be trained. Obi-Wan is unsure of Yoda's plans, fearing that the Empire would grow too powerful if they waited to train the children, and suggested they should begin the training of Luke. Yoda partially agreed, and allowing Obi-Wan to take Luke, Bail Organa took Leia to Alderaan. But the Jedi Master had no intention of keeping Luke on Tatooine, and heading straight for the Outer Rim. The Jedi Master is surprised by the speed of the Empire's mobilization as it surrounded the planet of Mandalore. By using his knowledge of the planet, he weaved through the new defences to land beside the Royal Palace, where he is guided to the throne room by several Night Owls. Bo-Katan had taken her place on the throne, and dismissing her guards, the Jedi Master informed her that her planet would not be in peace, as the Empire had already found her. Igniting his blade, they could hear the sound of clone troopers dropping down from Republic gunships outside of the palace, and Bo-Katan's forces start to battle to maintain their territory. Obi-Wan still wanted to hide his identity, and entering his starfighter with Luke, he monitored the battle from above, using the Force to manipulate the clone troopers, and shooting down any commanders of Clan Saxon who had formed an allegiance with the Empire. Helping to fend off the Imperial forces, Obi-Wan knew that these clone troopers would not be their new army, and soon the Empire would return with a vengeance, so he left the planet until he was needed again. The Jedi Master was about to make a risky return to Coruscant, in the event the Sith had not pillaged the temple's extensive archives, when he received a transmission from the hooded Captain Rex. Obi-Wan is initially reluctant to accept the clone trooper, having just witnessed the destruction that they were inflicting on those opposing the Empire, but hearing about how he had removed his inhibitorship, they met aboard Bail Organa's cruiser. Rex had already been working quietly for his own new rebellion, and the help of the Jedi Master was exactly what he required, but Obi-Wan tried to convince Rex that any remnants of the Republic had been completely destroyed, and he needed to join Bail Organa's ranks. Although initially hesitating, Rex realised that they shared the common goal of fighting the Empire, and accepting his new role, he set about using the information gained from the Maltese sisters to recruit Clone Force 99. On their journey to the planet of Ord Mantell, Obi-Wan was growing fearful that the presence of Luke would soon be detected, and connecting with the Force as Yoda had taught him, he could hear the faint voice of his master Qui-Gon. The deceased Jedi tells his Padawan that he cannot blame himself for the demise of Anakin, but he now must focus upon training Luke, as he would be able to restore balance to the Force. Landing in the heavily damaged Ord Mantell city, the Jedi Master could feel the danger in the air, and he could see the flags from a building controlled by the Black Sun fluttering in the distance. Nevertheless, Rex and Obi-Wan walk discreetly to Cid's parlour, where the clones are waiting for them. Subtly using the Force to probe into their minds, he could feel the conflict within the clones regarding the betrayal of Crosshair, and he questioned if he could retrieve the clone without endangering Luke. Clone Force 99 showed their reluctance, as they had seen Crosshair firing at them, and they didn't know the extent of the Empire's control over him. Nevertheless, Omega was adamant that they should not leave their brother behind, and following the clones in their Omicron-class attack shuttle, Obi-Wan and Rex waited cautiously behind them when he sensed the darkness in the Force. Dwarfing their ships in size was an enormous Imperial fleet, making the cloud-covered planet even darker than before, and Obi-Wan knew they had little time before they were all victims of the Empire. That is it for part 1 of What If Obi-Wan Never Went into Exile. If you'd like to see a part 2 soon, please like this video, turn on that notification bell, click that subscribe button on this channel, as well as on my other channel What If Films. And as always, leave a comment on what if you'd all like to see next, and how I can improve my videos. Thank you all very much for watching, and see you next time.